Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Beyond the Sewing Room. So today I thought I'd share with you how to put some pockets in the side of a jacket. Now this could be a jacket or a top, so it's going to be a quick little tip, a quick little sew along on how to do that. So stick with me and you'll know how to do this, it's really easy. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm currently working on a jacket, and if you watch my previous video you'll know that it's this one. It's Burda 7016. And this doesn't actually have any pockets in the side seam, but we're going to add some in the side seam because I thought they're really useful. I'm also going to put one inside and I'm going to add a lining to mine, but today we're just adding them in the side seam, in seam pockets, just to pop your hands in, so for your keys, your phone, anything, a bit of change that you might need. So you can do this on a top, as I said. We're going to make the pattern ourselves from paper, using just our hand as a template, and it's so much easier than you think. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. So let's get on and I'll show you how we're going to make that from some paper. Now you can use any paper that you have lying around. You can use A4 paper, you can use old magazines, baking paper, bits of paper that you've got left over from patterns where you've cut around the edge. It's always good to save those pieces. So that's what I've got. I've saved a little piece here from the outside of another pattern that I cut out, so you can see it's still got some writing on it just there. Just an odd amount, but if you save all those you can stick them together and they come in handy for tracing off patterns from magazines, or if you're doing PDF ones and you want to use the proper tracing paper. So do hold on to that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use our hand and we're going to go draw around it. I'm going to show you on the desk right now. So here is my piece of paper, and we just need our hand because we need to make sure that it's big enough to fit our hand in. So just place your hand on it like this, and a little bit going into the wrist. I'm going to do a good amount all the way around like this, because we need to allow for that seam allowance, and a bit to go into the side. Now that's basically the shape of our hand, but what we also want to do is we want to make sure we've got a good opening. So we're just going to shape this off like this, and we're just going to cut round that, and this side part here it's just going to be straight. And we're just going to cut that out. Now, if you've already got inseam pocket style pieces from another pattern, you can just use those. I'm also going to show you how we're going to hide it in the seam if you're not lining your jacket in a moment. So just cut out that shape, and we're going to cut two. So you can do one in your main fabric, and you can do one in a lining fabric, or one in something lighter. But you do need to make sure that the one that you get from your main fabric is going to the back, so that if a little bit shows, that's what's showing to the front. Right, now you've got that shape, we do want it on an angle like this as it comes into our jacket. So we're not going to cut it from here, we're going to cut it straight up the side, and you may want to allow a little extra again here as you cut round it, just to make sure that you've got enough for your seam allowance. So I'm going to cut straight up the side of my fabric like this. So I'm doing two in this fabric, which is my outer fabric, and I'm going to do two in lining. And I'm going to leave this straight here, and I'm going to cut round it from here like this. Now I'd rather have my pockets a little bigger than too small, so if you want to cut around like this, do so. So you're adding a little bit more onto the seam allowance again. We can always take away, but we can't add on. So those are my two pocket pieces in the main lining. I'm now going to cut two out in main fabric. I'm now going to cut two out in lining fabric. As I'm using a mix of this fabric with denim on my jacket, I decided to do my other pieces in denim as my lining for my pocket. So I've got main fabric and denim. Once you've done that, we know that our hand fits nicely, and we're going to do two notches. So do this about 1.5 centimetres away from the edge, like this, on either side, and you're going through both thicknesses of your pockets, so the lining and the main fabric. We're now going to transfer those markings to our jacket pieces. So these are the front panels of my jacket. They've not been sewn together yet. So here we have our pocket pieces that we've just made. And if you look, we lay it on the side like that. That is how it's going to lay on the inside of the jacket like this. Now don't worry if it even comes down a little further, because on this particular jacket we're going to have a band here anyway. So I'm going to position mine about there, and I'm going to make a note where I've made those markings here. You can do this with chalk. I'm just showing you with a pin so that it shows up. A pin there and a pin there, and that's where we're going to stitch to. So we're going to duplicate those markings on both pieces. So you could do a little notch if you wish, or you could do it with a chalk mark. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the back panel. So this is the back panel of my jacket. I'm going to fold it in half. So I've got my armholes together here and the bottom lined up. Place it on top so that it lines up like this. And again, transfer those markings. So either a little notch or a chalk mark. So this is really easy. So there's not loads of maths and working things out on pattern pieces and special calculations, which I know puts a lot of people off. You're just making those markings, and we're just going to sew within those lines. So we've marked it on our back and we've marked it on our front. We've also marked the notches on our pockets, and now we're going to sew them to our jacket pieces. So this is the front panel of my jacket, and if you're doing two different pockets like I've done, two different fabrics, the one that doesn't match, so if it was in lining fabric, in mine it's in denim, you want it to go on the front one, and it wants to be right side facing down. Line it up like this and line up your notches. Then we're going to sew in between those notches, so right side's facing within the seam allowance. So on mine I'm going to do it 1 centimetre in. So back tack, sew down that side to your next notch or marking. And when you've done that, open it up. Now you can give it a press. You want your seam pressed towards your pocket, and then we're going to understitch it. Now that means you press that seam outwards towards the pocket and just inside that seam that we've just made, but onto the pocket, so you're catching the seam onto the pocket piece. We're going to stitch it down with a line of stitching like this. And this will just stop it from sort of rolling outwards when you're wearing it. Like this, and then that will fold back like that. So on the inside it will be like this, and on the outside you've got that nice neat edge. So do that on both sides of your fronts. Then on the back, again with right sides facing, your other pocket pieces, but this time they'll probably be in your main fabric if that's what you've used. Sew them on in the same way and understitch again. Now to sew them together, you want to place right side on top of right side. So here's your back and here is your front. So we've got right sides facing, the pocket is facing outwards like this. We're going to sew from the underarm down to here, back tack, stop, and then go to the bottom of the pocket here where our marking is, back tack again and sew to the bottom. When you've done that, we can sew around our pockets and then edge finish them if you wish. If you're lining it, you don't really need to edge finish it, but it's best to edge finish it because it saves on any fraying. So stitch from underarm to top of pocket and back tack, then from this point in the pocket where your marking is down to the bottom again and back tack, and then sew around your pocket pieces. Now from the outside, this is what our pocket looks like. So it's neatly in the side seam. Obviously it needs giving a press, but you've got that main fabric on the back, I've got my denim on the inside, and if I put my hand in from the right side, there's plenty of room inside the pocket. My hand fits in nicely, and from the inside it will look like this. Obviously if you're not lining you can overlock it. Mine's going to be lined, so I'm going to overlock round that now, complete the other pocket, and then continue making my jacket. This will all be hidden inside the lining on mine. If you are leaving it unlined, when you've finished, and if you're putting a band on your jacket, you can put a few slip stitches to the band or to the hem here to keep the pocket from moving around. You can also do the same at the front band or whatever method of finishing you've got down the front of your jacket or top. You can put a few stitches, slip stitches by hand or machine, at the side and at the bottom here, and that will sort of stop it from flopping around when you're wearing it. You can still do that if you're lining it, but if you're lining it, it will be held in place with the lining. So I hope that was helpful, and now that you've seen how easy it is to add pockets to things, you'll be adding them to all kinds of things, because they are really useful, aren't they? So I'm going to carry on with my jacket now. I have had to order a small jeans button, so if you watched my previous video you will have noticed I was trying to use up everything that I had on hand, lots of oddments left over, but I am just short a few denim buttons. Well, they're not that expensive. So I've had to order another packet of jeans buttons just so that I can finish it off. So this will be finished in the next few days, so hopefully my next video will be a completed version of that. I've got a few other jobs to be getting on with as well. I hope you enjoyed watching today. Thank you so much for joining me, and let me know in the comments if this was useful to you. Bye for now.